Think you know what a tractor looks like? Think again. Most people imagine a generic green or red giant rolling through a cornfield, but history has a much stranger side. Today we are opening the barn doors on the misfits, the monsters, and the engineering marvels that time almost forgot. We're talking about a British crawler that starts with a shotgun shell, a garden tractor built from a Dodge muscle car, and a Swiss climber that defies gravity. These are the 10 strangest vintage tractors you won't believe actually exist. Buckle up, because number 1 is a machine so rare, most people think it's a myth. Let's fire them up. Let's kick off our list in post-war Britain with a machine that defines the term heavy metal, the Fowler VF. Produced between 1948 and 1953, this crawler was designed to conquer the heavy clay soils of England, but it has fascinated American collectors for decades. The most striking feature of the VF is undoubtedly its engine. A massive single-cylinder, horizontal two-stroke diesel power plant. Unlike the smooth hum of modern multi-cylinder engines, the Fowler creates a ground-shaking, rhythmic thump that you can literally feel in your chest from 50 yards away. It is a primitive, raw, and incredibly powerful mechanical heartbeat. To bring this beast to life, you didn't simply turn a key or pull a cord. In cold weather, you had to use a power cartridge, which is essentially a blank 12-gauge shotgun shell. You would screw a special breech holder into the cylinder head, tap the firing pin sharply with a hammer, and bang! The explosion would drive the massive piston down with enough force to crank the engine over. It sounds like fiction, but it was standard procedure. This shotgun start method makes the Fowler VF one of the most dangerous and thrilling tractors to demonstrate at shows today. Weighing in at approximately 10,000 pounds, the Fowler VF was a master of traction rather than speed. It moved at a slow, deliberate pace, utilizing its tracks to float over mud that would swallow a wheeled tractor whole. Although it lacked the creature comforts of American tractors from the same era, its simplicity was its greatest strength, featuring far fewer moving parts to break down. Today, seeing a VF in motion is like watching a mechanical dinosaur roam the earth. The sheer momentum of its giant flywheel and that iconic exhaust note remind us of an era when engineering was about brute force. From the mud of Britain, we jump to the suburbs of 1950s America to meet the Kopar Panzer. If you think this looks like a toy, you are dead wrong. The Panzer is widely considered the toughest garden tractor ever built, and its DNA explains why. Emerging from College Park, Maryland, the designers wanted to build a machine that could never be broken by the average homeowner. Their solution was brilliantly American. Go to the automotive junkyard. The rear end of a Panzer is literally a Dodge automotive rear end, often an 8 3/4-inch Chrysler axle, narrowed to fit a tractor frame. This means you have a differential designed to handle the torque of a V8 muscle car engine, powering a compact garden tractor that weighs around 700 pounds. It is virtually indestructible. Visually, the Panzer is unmistakable, with its bright colors and wasp waist frame design, looking more like a go-kart on steroids than a piece of farm equipment. The engineering was ingenious yet strange. It utilized a unique Glide-Matic drive system. By moving a lever, you engaged a friction drive that eliminated the need for a traditional clutch pedal, making it incredibly user-friendly for suburbanites unfamiliar with heavy machinery. Despite its diminutive size, the Panzer was a powerhouse in the garden tractor community, capable of pulling plows and carrying loads that would crush modern lawn tractors. It also featured individual turning brakes, allowing this four-wheeled machine to spin on a dime like a zero-turn mower. Owners today go crazy for the Panzer, not just because it's rare, but because it represents the peak of American over-engineering. It's a garden tractor with the soul of a muscle car, proving that, with enough surplus car parts and imagination, you can build a legend that lasts forever. Now let's go big, really big. In the 1970s, American farms were expanding rapidly, and farmers needed massive horsepower to cover thousands of acres. Massey Ferguson answered the call with the 1805. This wasn't just a tractor, it was an articulated giant designed to dominate the vast, flat plains of the Midwest. While most tractors of the time were rigid, the 1805 bent in the middle to steer. But the real headline is under the hood. a Caterpillar 3208 V8 diesel engine. Yes, a V8 in a tractor, giving it a high-pitched roar distinct from any other machine. With nearly 200 horsepower on tap, the 1805 was built for heavy-duty tillage, pulling massive multi-bottom plows through heavy soil. Weighing over 25,000 pounds when fully ballasted, it was a beast of burden. However, the design was controversial due to its weight distribution. The heavy V8 engine was hung way out behind the rear axle of the front section, creating a butt-heavy appearance. This unique layout was meant to balance the tractor under load, but it gave the machine a strange, elongated look, like a mechanical snake crawling across the horizon. The cabin was positioned high up, giving the driver a commanding view, but making the ride feel like piloting a ship on a stormy sea due to the articulation point. Today, the Massey Ferguson 1805 remains a symbol of the transition into high-horsepower farming. It paved the way for the monsters we see today, but did so with a unique aesthetic that hasn't been replicated. Collectors love the 1805 for its sheer presence and that V8 soundtrack. It is a loud, thirsty, and magnificent dinosaur from the golden age of American horsepower that demands a very large shed. Sticking with the four-wheel drive giants, we encounter the White Field Boss 4N150. When this rolled out in the mid-70s, it looked like a spaceship compared to the competition. While John Deere was green and International was red, White painted their machines a stunning silver and charcoal gray. The 4N150 was White's attempt to bring articulated power to the average-size farm, filling the gap between standard tractors and the massive Steigers. It featured a very low profile and a cab-forward design, placing the driver right up near the nose of the machine, which was a radical departure from traditional layouts. Mechanically, the 4N150 was a closed-loop system of raw power, often utilizing the White Hercules or Caterpillar V8 diesel engine, producing around 150 to 175 horsepower. Unlike its slower cousins, the Field Boss was surprisingly fast, capable of road speeds approaching 20 mph, which felt like warp speed in a tractor of that size. Its low center of gravity made it stable on hills, but the short wheelbase combined with articulation could make for a choppy ride. It was a compact giant trying to do the work of a big tractor in a smaller, more stylish package. The weird factor comes from its market positioning and aesthetic. It stood out visually on any farm it worked on, gleaming silver in the sun. Unfortunately, reliability issues with the transfer case and cooling sometimes plagued these machines, earning them a mixed reputation. Today, however, the Field Boss 4N150 is a cult classic. Its silver paint fades to a unique patina, and its distinct shape makes it instantly recognizable at any tractor show. It stands as a reminder of the fiercely competitive 70s market, where style began to matter just as much as substance. We crossed the Atlantic back to Germany to examine the MAN 4R3. Most Americans know MAN for their massive trucks and buses, but for a brief period, they made some of the finest tractors in the world. The 4R3, built in the late 50s and early 60s, is essentially the Rolls-Royce of the vintage tractor world. What makes it strange for the time is its advanced engineering. While American tractors were still largely two-wheel drive, the MAN 4R3 featured a sophisticated all-wheel drive system with a drive shaft running directly to the front axle, providing superior traction. But the real shocker is the speed and comfort. These tractors were designed for German roads as much as the field, capable of reaching speeds of 18 to 20 mph, which was incredibly fast for the era. The 4R3 weighs around 4,500 pounds and produces about 45 horsepower, but it puts that power to the ground more efficiently than machines with twice the specs. The front axle suspension system makes the ride incredibly smooth, a luxury unknown to most farmers bouncing around on rigid American iron. It was a machine built without compromise. The engineering is dense and complex, overbuilt in the classic German fashion. Every bolt, gear, and lever feels precise. However, finding parts for a MAN 4R3 in the US is a nightmare, which makes seeing one running on American soil a true unicorn sighting. It represents a different philosophy of farming, one that prioritized precision, speed, and comfort over brute simplicity. If you ever see a dark green tractor with the letters MAN on the grill, take a picture. You are looking at agricultural royalty. If you want to talk about rare in the American market, let's talk about the Shepherd SD1. R.H. Shepherd of Hanover, Pennsylvania, was a diesel visionary in the 1940s. At a time when most small American tractors ran on gasoline or kerosene, Shepherd believed in the efficiency of diesel. He introduced a line of tractors that included the SD1, SD2, SD3, and SD4. The SD1 is the baby of the family, and it is weirdly wonderful because it challenged the convention that diesel engines had to be massive, heavy beasts reserved for industrial crawlers. The SD1 is powered by a proprietary single-cylinder diesel engine, standing tall and slender, which gives the tractor a very high, narrow hood profile. Weighing around 2,700 pounds, it produced roughly 8 horsepower at the drawbar. Modest numbers, but delivered with incredible torque. What made Shepherd unique was that they manufactured everything in-house, including the fuel pumps and injectors, to aerospace-level tolerances. This was unheard of for a small agricultural company. The SD1 featured a simplified design with a distinct putt-putt sound that is music to a collector's ears today. Why is it so rare? Because it was ridiculously expensive to build. The high manufacturing costs of the precision diesel components made the SD1 significantly pricier than a comparable gas-powered Farmall Cub or Ford N-Series. As a result, sales were slow, and very few were made before production ceased. If you own an SD1 today, you don't just own a tractor, you own a piece of failed but ambitious industrial history. Seeing one of these tall, narrow blue tractors at a show is a reminder of a man who tried to force the diesel revolution a decade before the market was ready. Now for something that looks less like a tractor and more like a Mars rover, the eBay TT88 TerraTrak. This machine hails from Switzerland, a land defined by steep mountains rather than flat cornfields. Standard high-clearance tractors are deadly on alpine slopes because they tip over easily. So AB engineers threw the traditional rulebook out the window. They designed a machine with an ultra-low center of gravity where the driver sits low between the axles rather than on top of them. It looks squat, wide, and aggressive, like a sports car designed for cutting grass. The capabilities of the TerraTrak are mind-bending. It can operate safely on slopes of up to 45 degrees, angles where you would struggle to even stand up without slipping. To achieve this, it uses wide dual wheels on both the front and rear axles to maximize the footprint. The TT88 features all-wheel steering, allowing it to crab walk sideways across hills to prevent sliding down. Powered usually by a reliable diesel engine producing around 50 to 60 horsepower, it is a master of stability, weighing in at a light 4,000 pounds to prevent tearing up the delicate mountainside. To an American farmer used to row crop tractors, the AB looks completely alien. It has the controls and dashboard of a modern vehicle, but the ruggedness of a tank. While rare in the US, they are occasionally imported by specialty farmers working on steep vineyards or hilly orchards. Watching an EB clinging to the side of a cliff, mowing hay where a goat would hesitate to walk, is a testament to how environment dictates design. It is proof that sometimes to go forward, you have to get low. Next, we visit Austria for the Warchalowski WT20. Even the name is a mouthful for English speakers. Warchalowski was a prestigious Austrian manufacturer, famous for one specific technology: air-cooled diesel engines. In the post-war era, water-cooled engines were prone to freezing in harsh alpine winters or boiling over in heavy work. Warchalowski solved this by eliminating the radiator entirely. The WT20 is a compact, beautifully designed tractor that looks almost artistic with its rounded, bulbous red hood. Under that clamshell hood, which opens from the side in a unique motion, lies the heart of the beast, a V-twin air-cooled diesel engine. If you look closely, instead of water jackets, you see massive cooling fins and a powerful blower fan, looking more like a heavy-duty motorcycle engine than a farm tractor. This two-cylinder setup produces a distinct, loud clattering sound that is unmistakable. Weighing just under 3,000 pounds, it was nimble and punchy, perfect for the small, fragmented farms of Central Europe. The WT-20 also featured advanced hydraulics for its time and a comfortable operator platform. In the United States, Warchalowski tractors are incredibly scarce, often brought over by immigrants or eccentric collectors. They represent a brilliant alternative engineering path. While John Deere and Ford were betting on water cooling, Warchalowski proved that air was enough, provided you had the engineering precision to pull it off. It's a machine that runs hot, sounds loud, and refuses to quit, no matter the weather. If you have a vineyard with extremely narrow rows, a standard tractor is useless. You need a specialist. Enter the Holder A10, made in Germany. This is one of the smallest articulated tractors ever mass-produced, often referred to as the Cultitrac. Holder specialized in machines for wine and fruit growing, where space is at a premium. The A10 is tiny, weighing only about 1,500 pounds and measuring just over 30 inches wide. It looks like a toy until you see what it can pull. The magic lies in its articulation. The A10 steers by pivoting in the center, which ensures that the rear wheels follow the exact track of the front wheels. This is crucial in a vineyard so you don't crush the valuable vines when turning corners. Powering this little green bug is a Sachs two-stroke diesel engine, producing around 10 horsepower. Yes, a two-stroke diesel. It requires a mix of oil and fuel, or oil injection, and it revs high and angry, emitting a cloud of blue smoke that signals it's working hard. Despite its size, the A10 features four-wheel drive and incredible traction. It can snake through tight spaces that would trap a wheelbarrow. In the US, Holder tractors have a cult following among organic farmers and vineyard owners who appreciate German efficiency. Watching a Holder A10 work is mesmerizing. It wiggles and flexes through the field like a biological creature rather than a rigid machine. It is a masterclass in compact engineering, proving that size isn't everything when you have superior agility. Finally, at the Remarque 10, we have a machine that asks the question, when does a tiller become a tractor? This is the Rototiller B1&6, often associated with the Fraser brand in the post-war US market. In the late 1940s, the Rototiller wasn't just a garden tool, it was a revolution for small homesteads. The B1&6 is a massive walking tractor, but what lands it on our list is how it blurred the lines. It was marketed not just for tilling soil, but as a total farm solution, capable of replacing a horse for the modern suburban farmer. The key feature was the sulky attachment. You didn't just walk behind this beast, you attached a chariot-like seat with two wheels to the rear and rode it. Powered by a potent single-cylinder two-stroke engine, it had enough torque to pull a plow, a harrow, or a sickle bar mower. Controlling it was a workout. You steered using long handlebars that required significant upper body strength to turn, especially on rough ground. It was a hand-to-hand combat style of farming that is totally foreign today. The Rototiller B1&6 represents the missing link in tractor evolution. It bridges the gap between the hand tools of the early 20th century and the ride-on garden tractors, like the Panzer, that would dominate the 1960s. While they are often considered widowmakers today, due to their lack of safety features and aggressive tines, they hold a special place in history. They empowered the small man to farm his own land without needing a stable of animals. It's weird, it's tippy, but it is undeniably a tractor pioneer. From the shotgun start Fowler to the snake-like Holder, these 10 machines prove that the road to modern farming was paved with some wild experiments. They are mechanical time capsules, preserving the genius and the madness of their inventors. Which one of these weirdos would you park in your garage? I'm betting on the Panzer with the Dodge rear end. Let me know your pick in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this ride through history, please smash that like button and subscribe. We have more forgotten iron to uncover. Thanks for watching and keep on farming.